Hi everyone, you're all welcome to the first session on corporate social responsibility. In this session, we'll discuss what is CSR and what its historical evolution has been. But before we get into the history, I feel we should spend a bit time on the question why corporates? Why businesses? Because conventionally we believe that it's the government or the state which is responsible to work for driving the growth of its country, its people, protection of environment and such social responsibility issues. So why we think that businesses have a role to play in this aspect today? Businesses are seen as economic drivers. They create employments, they use technology, innovation to create new products, for example, electric cars, air purifiers to basically deal with the world problems. But in today's globally connected and integrated world, we feel when businesses especially have outgrown certain economies, if we were to treat governments as or state as entities, there is one research which shows that among the top 100 world economies or world revenue generating entities, the 71 are corporations and the rest are governments. India itself comes at 29, and there are companies like Walmart, Apple, ExxonMobil which are ahead in terms of revenue in comparison to Indian revenues. So it is in this sense that sheer size and impact that the corporations have on people and environment, that this expectation of responsibility from corporations come in the same manner as we have expectations from the global institutions and governments, and which is why today the role of businesses has come under a lot of scrutiny by public, by government, regulators and all other stakeholders. And governments all over the world are now creating regulations and legislative framework to regulate corporate behavior, and India also falls in that space. We also have these provisions which we will discuss in further sessions. So what is CSR? There are many terms which are interchangeably used to signify this concept. Terms like corporate accountability, corporate citizenship, business and ethics, sustainable business, stakeholder capitalism, triple bottom line, and so on and so forth. These terms have evolved over a period of time, depending on the cultural norms and geopolitical situations or regulatory framework that were existing at that point in time. The term itself was coined by Mr. Howard Bowen, an American economist, in 1953. Since then, a lot of definitions have come, a lot of concepts have been included, excluded. But what we need to understand is not a typical standard definition in that sense of a, let's say, statutory provision that needs to be complied with. We need to understand the essence of the term. What it signifies basically is that a corporation does not exist in isolation. It impacts the community, the environment. It heavily depends upon the society for the resources that it needs, whether it's capital through public funding, human capital as employees and labor, resources to produce products and then sell those products to the consumers. So the consumers also come from this environment around business. Even it depends on them for the brand reputation, etc. So what we need to see is from the concept of sustainability. From sustainability perspective, while the world is running against time to reach sustainable world, it is understood that businesses have a pivotal role to play in achievement of these goals. This is in two ways. One, positive contribution. It's expected from businesses to contribute finance and innovation technology to make products to solve global problems. And secondly, reduction of negative impact the way businesses have been having in the past. So in this sense, corporate social responsibility goes beyond the realm of legislative mandate and philanthropy as it was understood in the past. So now moving into the evolution of businesses in Indian context, we will also touch upon a few global developments which have had bearing on how CSR framework has evolved in India. If we go back into the history, we can actually say that it, as religion and cultural norm used to drive human behavior, That is how CSR was also taking its origin as the society was evolving. It was expected from the members of a particular community to respect human rights and also contribute towards the social good. As trading started to happen, the traders and the merchants would establish night shelters or religious places or even hospitals and dispensaries. In Indian context, during fourth century, Kautilya or Chanakya, as we know him, he wrote a treatise called Chanakya Niti, which is actually from the leadership perspective, like how a leader should lead its community, where the ethics in terms of business also needs to be followed. This you can we can say pre-industrialization. This is how mostly CSR was driven, from more philanthropic point of view and inside out sense of responsibility of leadership. It was a post industrialization when it in the corporate sense of the meaning, CSR started taking shape, especially because of the impact that it started having on people who were involved in this. For example, the health and well-being, safety of the employees, the forced labor or women and children in employment. In Indian context, during the freedom movement, it was Mr. Mahatma Gandhi who promoted the doctrine of trusteeship. He urged the businesses and corporations to contribute wealth, make donations for bigger social good. So CSR in that sense started taking shape more in the form of philanthropy. It was after independence we as country adopted socialism and declared India to be a welfare state. This is what shaped the regulatory policy and legislative framework for our country. The Constitution of India itself made it obligatory for the government to promote welfare of all its citizens. Two specific articles I just want to highlight. One is the ownership and control of the materials resources of the community should be so distributed that it is for the common good, and the operations of economic system does not result in the concentration of wealth and means of production. So since then there were social legislations that were coming up to deal with the social issues or concerns of that time. For example, various employment laws and labor laws actually came during this time. Simultaneously, we also adopted our own way of mixed economy. At that time, it was the public sector units which were in focus, and private sector had to take a back seat because of the stringent rules and regulations which used to be called as license Raj at that time. During this time, the Department of Public Enterprises, which regulated the central public sector units, came up with guidelines for corporate social responsibility and sustainability of PSEs. This is since then annually revised, and it specifically mandated setting aside or allocation of budget for CSR activities. In 1965, there was an attempt made by holding a workshop trying to reconcile the gap between the PSUs and the private sector, and the focus was on transparency and ethics for corporations. During this time, a lot of global developments were also taking shape. After the World War II got over in 1945, the global and regional institutions started coming up with the formation of United Nations, European Commission, OECD. All these global institutions since then and even today come up with these international treaties, guidelines, protocols that make it obligatory for the member states to also adopt in their legislative framework, which is what India has also been doing, being a signatory and ratifying these treaties. So these international treaties, protocols, guidelines were shaping up the regulatory and legislative framework for various countries. And obviously there were some jurisdictions which were more progressive than the others. In 1970, while all these changes were going on, Milton Friedman, an American economist, came up with a theory of shareholder capitalism. According to him, the sole purpose of organizations or corporations is to maximize wealth for its shareholders. so long as they comply with the rule of the game. But as obvious, the rule of the game was different for different countries. This theory has been driving the businesses, the economies, and the financial systems all over the world. And during the post that, there were negative impacts of this theory that started emerging. In where the management started indulging in unethical business practices, resulting in impact on people and environment in form of oil spills, pollution by power plants, or all sorts of other activities that also started happening, which led to frauds and scams, as we know, we have been reading about and been witnessing that has been happening. All this is what created pressure towards moving the needle from shareholder capitalism to stakeholder capitalism. In Indian context, with the liberalization happening in early 90s, while Indian companies were moving with CSR more in philanthropic sense, they also started to get the nudges and pressures to comply with the international standards. Around the post that, the development was more from the industry side, like the corporate governance code and these kind of recommendations that started coming from the industry perspective. On global side, there were Millennium Development Goals, which came first in 2000. Though it did not specifically talk about corporations, but it was understood that the private sector will have to help in trying to achieve these goals. In the same year, United Nations came up with the Global Compact for businesses to follow. These were set of 10 principles which talked about things from human rights of employees and things like that. Subsequently, United Nations came up with business and human rights guidelines in 2011. We in India simultaneously, Ministry of Corporate Affairs came up with the national guidelines, which were voluntary for the social, economic and responsibility of businesses. These voluntary guidelines were formed basis for the business responsibility reporting framework, which was adopted by SEBI in 2012. Initially, it was for the first top 100 companies by market capitalization. By 2015, with the adoption of the listing regulations, this was BRR framework was extended to top 500. And from this year onward, this framework has been extended to top 1,000 companies, which is delayed to take effect due to the COVID scenario. Then on global end, again, the Sustainable Development Goals were adopted in 2015. And with UN Business and Human Rights Guidelines, all these formed basis for the MCA's updated guidelines on responsible business conduct. In recent since then, it specifically with regard to corporate social responsibility, there was there are two adoptions that happened, which with our 2013 Companies Act. Firstly, as we had previously discussed, that the businesses have to help in two ways: positive contribution and reducing the negative impact. So India adopted the stakeholder governance model in the Companies Act in the form of Section 166, making it obligatory for board to act in the interest of its shareholders, employees, community, and for protection of the environment. And simultaneously, Section 135 for corporate social responsibility was adopted, making it mandatory for certain companies meeting certain threshold to set aside 2% of their profit for actual CSR activities. With regard to specifically CSR provision and its effect and what developments have happened since 2013, we will discuss that in the next session. So in meanwhile, please feel free to share in your comments or topics that you would like covered in this session, and we shall cover that. Thank you.